Hello everyone, welcome back to patchoulzi. My name is Patch and I hope you allow me to entertain you. For those of you who are unaware, I made a YouTube short series where I took my ugly designs for the villains of my soon-to-be webcomic, Divine of Thandalia, and vastly improved them. In this series, I talked about either my process or the backstories behind these characters. Today, I'd like to expand on both the process and the backstories, meaning that for the videos where I primarily focus on the process, I'll be focusing on the backstories and vice versa. I sincerely hope you guys stick around because maybe this will inspire you to analyze and improve your character designs as well. Feel free to listen to this while drawing or something, since most of this footage is footage I've used in previous videos.
Wow!
Before I really go into detail about individual characters, I want to look at the whole. This whole ordeal started back in the summer of 2024, where I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get off my ass and finally make ref sheets of my characters. In my shorts, I only showed you one part of the reference. The whole ref sheet it's interesting to say the least. To give myself a smidge of credit, this was the first time I drew some of these characters digitally, most notably my villains, but it's still not the quality of something I draw today. While I was satisfied with the designs back then, as time went on I grew to resent them, which actually made the desire to draw my characters less apparent. Additionally, as I developed new backstory and personality ideas for my OCs, the reference sheets were becoming less relevant. This takes us to the summer of 2025, where basically, right after I graduated, I started pumping out ref sheets for the protagonists of DOT for Art Fight, which are now outdated, just so you know. Not only did the story change between 2024 and 2025, but they just needed a fresh new look. However, I didn't have time to think of new designs for my villains, so they were just left in the dark to rot. This leads me to November, where, while working on this animatic that didn't get that many views because YouTube hates me and literally didn't want this video to be out in the US, I realized just how ugly my villain designs were. I also realized just how inaccurate they were compared to the visions I had in my head for my OCs. It was then when I decided to roll up my sleeves and work on redesigning my villains, starting with Angelise, who I had already redesigned once. My previous video on Angelise put a lot of focus on her design, so now it's time to switch things up and talk about her backstory. Angelise was born into nobility. Her family, the Soul Freaks, were well liked across Thandalia's nobility, especially since her uncle, Morgano, had married the Queen of Estrée, Queen Linnell of the Mouse of Dave rule. Despite the likability her family had, they carried a dark secret. To give you a bit of context, there was this goddess of magic called Adesse. Adesse's followers, the Adessian elves, were fighting amongst each other on whether magic should be used to preserve peace and wisdom, or whether magic should be used to pursue conquest and power. This conflict caused Adesse to split into two separate goddesses, Ayesha and Alcoria. The Alcorians had taken over Thandalia for many years before they allowed humans, people from Earth, onto their planet. This sparked the need for the divine powers, or the divine. The divine kicked ass, and now it's illegal to worship Alcoria and Estrée. Despite that, many noble families still worship Alcoria, as Alcoria gives them powerful magic. Angelise's parents were devout Alcorians, who often hired assassins to murder those in power. Since the apple often doesn't fall far from the tree, Angelise had poisoned her parents when she was 20, as she believed they were slow in their conquest. With most of the staff ignorant to the Soul Freak family's true values and beliefs, they made Angelise hire a personal bodyguard, who would act as a food taster, a personal maid, and protection, of course. This bodyguard was Erotica, who would eventually become Angelise's wife. Fun Angelise fact, originally Angelise wanted to marry a different woman, but unfortunately, this woman was unable to convert to Alcoria, so she had Erotica kill her. At this time as well, Angelise was having an affair with Erotica, so yeah, Angelise is not a role model. It's almost like she's evil or something. Eventually, Angelise managed to secure an army big enough to take over Estrée, arresting Queen Linnell with the assistance of the prince, and killing all of the current divine gang except for Princess Penelope. I absolutely love her new design. I think before I was trying to go for a more unhinged vibe, which didn't match at all the character Angelise is actually. I also think I was trying to show off that she has the ability to create lightning, but even then I feel like that's not portrayed super well. Not to mention how complex the outfit is. DOT is going to be a webcomic, and I'm going to be the only one drawing it, and I know for a fact that if I had kept Angelise's design like this, my wrist would hate me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Now, moving on to Erotica. In Erotica's video, I also focused on the process, so today I will be going into her backstory. Erotica found herself orphaned. As of right now, I don't know exactly how her family dies, but either way, she lived in an Elysian temple for many years, learning the way of clerics along with other orphans. Erica wanted to be a cleric, but she felt the training required to be one. Feeling heartbroken, Erica instead signs up to be a part of Estray's military, becoming a barbarian, a class that specializes in frontline combat. At the time Erica was part of Estray's military, there wasn't any active conflict going on, so she was assigned to be a bodyguard to a noble, that noble being Angelise. She did more than she was specifically trained for, but Angelise told Erica that she only felt safe when she was near. While Erica stayed by Angelise's side, she eventually learned about Angelise's beliefs. At first she was ready to run away or even kill her, but Angelise persuaded her not to, saying that Alcoria gives her most devout followers gifts, and that Erica should earn gifts of her own, especially since it seemed Elisa abandoned her. Erica agrees, and Alcoria gives Erica the gift of telekinesis. Not only could Erica now lift twice the amount she was already lifting, but after rigorous training, she's able to control individual parts of living beings. Don't let that silly smile deceive you. Erica has killed and will kill again, all for the sake of her wife and her goddess. Originally, I was trying to give Erica a more Victorian military-inspired uniform, but ever since I changed the setting to be more medieval-esque, I've been desperately wanting to change Erica's design. Additionally, I didn't like her hair. I just didn't. So naturally, I changed it, and thank God I did. While she's not the worst of the worst, I still definitely prefer her new design. Anyways, moving on. The next character I redesigned is Morzana, and since I've already talked about Morzana's backstory, this time I'm going to talk about the process of making her new design. Morzana is a necromancer, so I wanted to give her that dark, sort of gothy feel to her, but another aspect about Morzana's character is that Morzana prefers to stay at home, only really going out to collect herbs or ingredients for her brews. Thus, I made her exceptionally pale. Also, she doesn't really prioritize her health, as she stays up late and works really hard to the point where she forgets to eat or drink water. Additionally, in the least spoilery way I can put it, she knows things that could potentially throw Angelise's plans way under the bus. Oh, and finally, I wanted Morzana to have her skin be of a slightly green tint, not only because one of her parents was a green elf, who are literally green as the name suggests, but also I felt it would give her a nice zombie-like vibe. With all of that in mind, this was the design I came up with, and with the help of my friends' feedback, thank you friends, they know who they are, I darkened Morzana's outfit and made it simpler. This simplification will help me in the long run as I draw the comic. Cunt! Up next is Morzana's partner, Zen. For Zen's video, I didn't talk about the design process or Zen's backstory. I know, how rude of me. This was for two reasons. One, the long-form video I wasn't able to post last week was going to be about Zen's design process. I referenced this video in the short because I wrote the script for the short way before I realized I couldn't finish Zen's video, so I just cut that part out. Two, I'm planning on changing Zen's backstory. I don't know how yet, but regardless of how I change up Zen's backstory, I just know that Zen and Morzana will always be part of each other's lives. I just love the dynamic of annoying person and person being annoyed. So let's talk about the process. Zen's personality can best be described as someone who is extroverted, mischievous, flirtatious, and a party animal. However, when it comes to the battlefield, they are more of a gymnast type. They do flips, they do tricks, and boy are they flexible. They punch and kick, and have the core strength of, someone who has good core strength. I was gonna be clever, but I don't actually know anyone who has good core strength. Shit. Additionally, I wanted the design to be more androgynous with feminine elements, since that is how Zen likes to present themselves, as Zen is non-binary. I've gotten a lot of comments referring to Zen with feminine pronouns, and before you freak out and apologize over and over again in my comments, or call me woke and subscribe and leave 10 million dislikes, you guys actually did nothing wrong, since Zen is fine with any pronouns, though they do prefer they them. I never said anything about their pronouns anyway, so y'all are fine. Utilizing these elements, this was the design I came up with. I gave Zen looser curls, since that was the hairstyle my friends liked the most, and took away the weird blonde root thingies. I don't know. The outfit is a huge improvement, and they just bring more cunty vibes to the function. Also, fun tidbit, Zen has figured out a way to go to Earth before the events of the story, so they definitely look less medieval compared to the others due to all the time they spent on Earth.
Don't fuck with me! I have the power of God and anime on my side!
Moving Moving on, we have Ray. Ray's design was honestly not that bad. However, there were aspects of it that were outdated and needed a change. I made Ray from Earth instead of Thandalian, so off with those wings. I also made his outfit a little more complex, but not in a way that would make me want to rip out my hair in a few years' time as I'm drawing the comic. Finally, I made his pants purple to make him fit in with the group better. In case you haven't noticed, everyone in the group has some sort of purple accent or outfit, since the color of magic on Thandalia is purple. Originally, Ray didn't have that, and now he does. I also decided to keep the tank top from his original design, but I put a leather jacket over it because I think leather jackets are neat.
Move, I'm gay.
And last, but certainly not least, we have Theo, who is Penelope's twin brother. I changed many elements of his story, so naturally his old design had to go as well. For one, Theo was originally going to be a twist villain. However, I walked this back because not only did the entire setting of the story change, but I also realized that a lot of people don't like twist villains. They're overdone. I'm starting to get tired of them, so now he looks a little more obviously evil. I also desaturated a lot of the colors and changed his entire getup. As for his story, well, basically, Penelope and Theo start off very close. They'd share things like clothes, their beds, their secrets, just lots of wholesome sibling stuff. However, their dynamic drastically changed as it became more and more apparent that Penelope was basically perfect. While Thea was charismatic and liked to talk to the nobles of Thandalia, Penelope impressed them with her intelligence and her skill in things such as embroidery and her uncanny ability to connect with animals. Additionally, Penelope was very devout in her worship of Elisa, as if it was almost like Elisa was keeping a close eye on her. Ooh. Finally, since Esther is a matriarchal society, Penelope taking over the throne was almost inevitable. As such, Penelope and Theo's mother, Queen Linnell, seemed to favor Penelope, and thus, Theo was relegated to talking to the plants he loved to grow. When they were 14, Theo and Penelope were taking unicorn writing lessons at their school, and one of the students found a cave allegedly filled with Alcorians. Since Theo was closer, one of the students told Theo about it, and Theo, armed with a rapier, took it upon himself to investigate. Lo and behold, there were Alcorians, and while he was trying to fight off mages with a flimsy sword, Penelope had found out and rushed over, trying to save her brother. It was then when Penelope got grievously injured and almost died even. If it wasn't for the work of the Nomords, Morzana's family, she would've. Since then, Penelope and her mother held a grudge against Theo for his recklessness, and while Theo was ostracized from the rest of the family, a certain cousin of his decided to pounce. It was Angelise that had brought Theo to Alcoria, and once Penelope became a divine power, Theo sought to take that power. Yippee! Wow, this video is probably long. Whoopsie. I hope you enjoyed, sincerely. But before you go, here are a couple of reminders. My socials are linked down below if you want to see what I'm up to beyond YouTube. I'm on Blue Sky, Kara, and Newgrounds. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. This helps push my wackiness to more people and helps make sure you don't miss an upload. Remember that you're valued in this world. Always be creative, and have a good day.